House Speaker Kevin McCarthy blocks far-left lawmaker Rashida Talib from holding an anti-Israel event at the Capitol Visitor Center. On Tuesday, McCarthy moved to cancel Talib's event, which was set to feature 9 anti-Israel groups and cast the founding of the Jewish state as a catastrophe. In remarks to the Washington Free Beacon, McCarthy called out Talib for trying to, quote, traffic anti-Semitic tropes and assert Israel will always have bipartisan support in the House as long as he is the Speaker. Instead of Talib's event, the Capitol Visitor Center will host an event commemorating the 75th anniversary of the U.S. and Israel's relationship. Now, House Speaker Kevin McCarthy is being praised for standing up to one of the squad members who continually shows her hate for Israel and the Jewish people. Here's a tweet that McCarthy sent out. It says, the event in the U.S. Capitol is canceled. Instead, I will host a bipartisan discussion to honor the 75th anniversary of the U.S.-Israel relationship. And joining me now to talk more about this is Rabbi Yaakov Menken, managing editor with Coalition for Jewish Values. Rabbi, as always, thank you so much for being here. So McCarthy being praised for being an ally of Israel, the Jewish people, who actually just came back from Israel not too long ago. You guys from the Coalition for Jewish Values wrote a letter to McCarthy about Talib's event. He acted pretty quickly, is that right?
Absolutely. In fact, we asked all 4 of the leaders of both parties in both houses of Congress to condemn this event in a bipartisan fashion, because support for Israel always used to be a bipartisan American issue. And in fact, Speaker McCarthy received our letter, which simply asked for condemnation because until yesterday, frankly, we did not know that there was a possibility that the speaker could preempt a room reservation and use it for a different purpose. He immediately said, I'm going to do more than just condemn it. I'm going to actually replace that event with a bipartisan panel on the pro-Israel, on the U.S.-Israel relationship over the last 75 years, which is absolutely amazing. We're very grateful that Speaker McCarthy responded to our letter in the fashion that he did.
Yeah, that was really fast and incredible. He's getting lots of praise for that. Rashida Talib wanted to host the event that would mourn the catastrophe of Israel's founding. Apparently, McCarthy responded by saying, as long as I'm Speaker, we're going to support Israel's right to self-determination and self-defense. Who was going to be at this event? What was this all about?
Well, it was a standard cast of characters, as it were. People who want to rewrite history. If you actually go back to 1948, and we pointed this out in our letter, which is available through our website, coalitionforjewishvalues.org, that the narrative in 1948 was, well, the Zionist Jews said, okay, we'll accept partition. We'll have a small Jewish state alongside an Arab state. That's fine. And the Arab armies responded by saying, we're going to have a momentous massacre. They were going to try to do to the Jews of the Holy Land what had so recently been done to the Jews of Europe. They literally wanted to aim for genocide. Their Nachba is that they fell 99% short on genocide. The Israel's creation came with slaughtering 6,000 people, 2,000 of whom were civilians. It was absolutely that this was a massacre that they wanted to do, and they call it a disaster that the massacre failed to materialize. What this says about them is certainly not that these are good, decent human beings you want to sit down with. And these are the people that Rashida Talib wanted to bring to the Capitol.
Yeah, so many Democrats are outraged when it comes to anti-Semitism, but then when we have Democrat lawmakers like Talib in U.S. Congress, I mean, it's incredible. I mean, she's open about her hate for Israel. She pushes for the BDS movement, boycott, divestment, and sanctions. I mean, same with the other squad members. Why are Democrats voting for these people? I mean, the Democrat Party needs to take a hard look at itself.
There is a problem here that anti-Semitism, it's a unique form of hate. It always hides behind a facade. But when you look at the facade more carefully and behind it, you find the very same rhetoric that was used by the Nazis and even today by right-wing anti-Semites is now being used by the squad, just couched in a discussion as if it were a political discussion about Israel. The movement to boycott Israel has nothing to do with the boycott of South Africa. It has to do with the Nazi boycott of Jews. And
Well,
you know that because the entire Jewish community is very sensitive to boycotts, precisely because economic warfare against the Jewish community is classically anti-Semitic. Go back to the Middle Ages when Jews couldn't be involved in professions. Go through the Nazi era. The very first thing they did was boycott Jewish businesses. Now you go to, oh, we're going to just boycott the Jews in Israel. Well, that's just, it is classic. And they, BDS claims to imagine that telling Jews that we're going to imitate an old Nazi tactic, and that's a good way to convince Jews to compromise on the security of their children. That's simple insanity. So it's obviously motivated by hate.
For all our viewers asking where One America News is heading in the future, we would like to introduce you to OAN Live. OAN Live is the best way to stay up to date on all of the hard-hitting, straight-shooting, national and international headlines. And the best part is, OAN Live is only $4.99 per month. All the credible, honest, unbiased reporting One America News offers at a fraction of the cost of cable. Just go to OANN.com to easily sign up for OAN Live and stay informed.